I got yeah. So the first call here is with Zach, and then sort of open forum to mastermind and share thoughts as we go through. But what's on your mind, Zach?
Well, I just wanted to share with you guys my what I'm building. I'm a registered nurse. I work in a big hospital system, and it kind of dawned on me over the last couple of months that nurses kind of have the same problem. We work this weird schedule that's every 3 weeks is a little bit different, and so I thought that programming a good program for each of those 3 weeks would be a good way to become like kind of a health coach or a life coach for them. So I've written an ebook for them about diet, sleep, and exercise. And it's like a 10-minute read. I'm going to make it free. I'm making these locker magnets to put on each floor, and so they can scan a QR code. And then at the end of it, I will have like a questionnaire for them to talk about like different problems they have. So once I build a bigger, better product, I can address all those problems and hopefully get clients that way and work with them one-on-one, because they're kind of like my niche. I know them very well. I know the problems that they have, or some of them. And I'm also, I've educated myself in diet, exercise, and sleep quite a bit, just because I've been into that stuff for like the last decade. And so I think I have something to offer them with that. And so, yeah, that's what I've started to build, and I'm still working on the big product, but I'm just getting my ebook out, and going to get feedback on that.
Cool. So are you working with any nurses at the moment?
Not one-on-one yet. I'm just I've talked to people about it, and people have shown a lot of interest in it, and they think they could definitely get a lot of information from me, just because I kind of have that reputation already. I've worked there for like 8 years, so I know people on a lot of different floors, and they know that I'm the health guy, the carnivore for like the last 18 months, so they know I'm weird like that. And exercise, like I do like fitness routines at work, just like in the stairwells, so they know I do weird stuff like that. So they know that I kind of have that reputation already, but I've never worked one-on-one with anybody.
Okay. Is there anything to stop you from doing that?
No, I don't think so. I'm ready, pretty much ready to go. I'm getting the ebook in Canva. I'm almost done with that. I just want to build like a landing page, or at least like a Google form that has like questions that they can just submit to me, and then I can get like what sort of problems do you personally struggle with, and then I can address those in my bigger offer. I know like in 100 million offers, Hormezy talks a lot about that, where the more problems that you can address, that kind of sets you apart from other programs. Because I've read quite a few different programs and seen them, but most of them just tell you what to do, but they don't really tell you the problems you're going to run into along the way. And so I think if I can direct those at nurses and the problems that they have, I might have something that's more specific to them.
Yeah. Cool. And so is this your first business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never done really any writing or anything. This would be the first.
Yeah. What made you think you wanted to have business instead of just continuing the path as a nurse?
Well, I see lots of nurses in their 50s and 60s still kind of complaining that they, about the same stuff. And I knew I didn't want to be that. And I've known that I didn't want to be a nurse forever. It was just a good path while I was finding direction and finding out what would work well with me and where my passion truly lies. Like, I work in an ICU, so I deal with the sickest people, and I like working with healthy people and making them stronger and fitter and happier and enjoying life. And working at like the sick care model where I'm like managing their diseases doesn't really bring a lot. I mean, I save lives, but it's not the same way, you know. They're still going to go back to their same. Like, I'd rather change lives for the long term and not just keep them alive.
Yeah. Cool. So what's the biggest gap that you see at the moment?
I guess, yeah, I think, I mean, I just need to put the reps in with talking to people about this stuff so I can get better at it. I don't really have a good flow with respect to working with people. But that'll just take time, talking to people and putting in, offering like 10-minute phone calls or something like that. Maybe, what do you think about having that like at the end? You know, I offer that at the ebook, at the end of the ebook, you know, if they wanted to do a 10-minute consultation, you know, to see if we'd be a good fit and see if when I have a better product that I can actually charge for, you know, see if they would be interested in that, or at least get a mailing list.
You have the ebook there
from that. Yeah, I have an yep.
Yeah, trying to pull it up.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on my phone. I don't know how to do
okay.
that. Let me see. Sorry, I'm a newbie.
Yeah, you should still be able to, but so what's the model at the moment that people are going to download the ebook and then maybe want to jump on a call after they read the ebook? Is it like going to be a free ebook from your Instagram website?
Yeah, right now. Yeah, right now I was just gonna I mean, I'll put a link tree on my Instagram and have like have that sort of stuff at the bottom as a part of the ebook, that they can click on that and go to the link tree. Or also just like QR, like a locker magnet that goes in on all the different floors, because I know people in all the floors of the hospital, and then a locker magnet with a QR code, so people that just hear about it, they know that they can just go scan that and see what I have to offer, and then read the ebook, see if it, you know, drives well with them, and then have the offer at the end. Hey, if you want to jump on a call with Zach, here's my Calendly link. We can talk for 10 minutes, see if you want to work with me. And
yeah. So do you have a second Instagram, or
no, I don't.
just Zach.watermelon.rn?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. So what's the goal with this? Like, where would you like to be with this 12 months from now?
I'd like to have a paid product that is more in depth, that also addresses the issues that that I get feedback on from the questionnaire, and then address those obstacles that people tend to come across when trying to make lifestyle changes, and work with people one-on-one. So I have a big product that they purchase from me, so they work with me for 6 months or a year. I haven't really refined the details on that, but something along those lines, where they pay me, I don't know the price either. I don't know, $500 for 6 months. Maybe that's
How much money are you making now?
too little. I don't know. As a nurse, I make like 130K a year.
What state are you in?
Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's with overtime, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to not work overtime in 16-hour shifts, but the pay is good, so I do it.
Yeah. So yeah, if it was $1,000 for a year to be in your Healthy Nurses Club, then you would need to make 130 sales to retire yourself.
I could do that. I think. I mean, there's 25,000 nurses in my union, and there's yeah, probably a few thousand just in my hospital. And so our union is all hospitals in the whole state. And yeah, there's over 25,000 nurses. So even if I could, once I have a product and I feel confident to get in front of like the union board, then maybe they'd let me expand to other hospitals and offer my services to them too. Because it, they know that I'm doing it for a good cause. I would think that they would want me to make their fellow nurses healthier too.
It's an interesting one. I have my doubts about whether the healthcare system gives a shit about health. That's
Yeah, no, that's so true.
Getting into politics, but
yeah,
if there's 25,000 nurses there, then what's the barrier? How do you create $1,000 worth of value? Is there anyone out there, or what have you seen out there that's targeting wellness for nurses? Have you done some research?
Yeah, I've looked around. I mean, I haven't really found anything that does what I want to do. And so I think that I'm like the first. I know there's like, Instagram accounts that are people that are nurses, but I haven't like looked at their products because I haven't paid for any of their products if they have them. It's more so just like reels that they have about just being healthy, but nothing that's really seems to niche down on nurses. It's more just general health advice.
Yeah. There's nursingworld.org, healthynation.org. That's the two things that pop up straight away. There'd be tons of data about the health of nurses as well, right? It's the easiest to study.
Yeah.
So you make a compelling case for the problem, and then make a big promise, and then put credibility behind that promise.
Yeah.
So nurse pain free. What would be the biggest priorities if you were to interview 1,000 nurses and they had to finish this sentence? I just want to fucking X. How would they answer that question?
Lose weight.
Okay.
It's a big one.
Is that probably the biggest thing? Is like
that and back pain.
Yeah. I just want to be able to do my
just
job.
Because we do a lot of boosting.
I feel like I'm in pain all day.
Yeah. That and there's always crap in the break room, like to eat. Families drop off.
Yep.
Garbage. And I've struggled with that myself, like not reaching for the cookie or there's so many pizza parties and donuts that get brought in, and people take a sliver and then by the end of the day they've had 3. And I went through that too. But eventually I got to the point, failing often enough to the point where I just don't want to do that anymore. And I was able to overcome that. And now I can easily go in the break room and not even be fazed by it. And, and I used to not even take breaks in the break room just to avoid being around the stuff, just because I didn't want to succumb to the temptation. So, yeah, I think those would be the big ones. And just, being fit. They want to be proud of the way they look.
You can go at this thing is to be a teammate before you're a coach.
Okay.
So make a video saying, I know I'm not the only nurse out there who wants to feel good, avoid all that shit in the break room, not be in pain, not be fat. I'm looking for other nurses that share the same values, who want to go on this journey to continue to improve our health. Find some allies, find some other people that are supporting this and that kind of want to be part of it in some way, whether they want to be case studies or whether they want to be advocates for it or tell their stories or counsel other nurses but like simply without having because the challenge for you, Zach, is like you don't have experience in sales and business. And so it's all going to feel like initially it's new. So if you take the money out of the situation for the first like 2-3 months, or at least for a month, and just see how many conversations you can start, see how many you can have join a Facebook group, see how many you can have get on a call with you, and just lead with value, and then create content based on the challenge that they have, the questions that they have. The best thing you can do is be a teammate, and then you'll realize exactly how much value you have to offer, and you'll have the wheels in motion to be able to then say, yeah, this is how much it costs. Because doing the cost thing and the sales thing and the money thing at the same time as figuring out the value is like a messy way to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So provide value for free to so people understand what I'm capable of or what I have to offer them, and see if they find value in it.
Not even for them.
Offer to work with them.
Yeah, not even for them. It's for you. It's about you realizing that you can have that conversation and that you can give value. And they'll never buy off you, but they'll have friends who will buy off you, or you'll just feel confident for the future conversations. Like, don't even worry about, is this person one day going to buy from me? Just be like, this is a sparring partner. I'm never going to have a boxing fight against these guys because they're at my gym, but we spar together and we get better together. Yeah. If you end up making a sale to one of them, fine. But by putting that in the equation, you feel differently about it, and you're going to mess it up. Like it's gonna make you nervous rather than just being, hey, that thing is bothering you. Like, I'm pretty sure we can fix that. I made this video about it. I'd love if you watched it and just give me some feedback, because I'm planning on starting a business with this, like, next year, like this. I want to help nurses. So I'm just trying to get as many case studies as I can. I'm just trying to help as many as I can. I'm just trying to understand what the pain is. Like, be curious, be surveying, be creating value, sending videos, sending content, and like contact 1,000 nurses. By the time you've contacted 1,000 nurses, all the nerves will be gone about this, and you'll be ready to be like, okay, like at some point you'll be like, okay, I need to start charging for this. Like, this is fantastic. I'm gonna charge now. But cool. The bad news is ebooks are tough these days. Like, people aren't going to give a shit about an ebook, more than likely. It's better if you turn it into a video course, and it's going to be better if they pay for it. But you can test it. But I wouldn't be that hopeful about the ebook. I'd be hopeful about a Facebook group, and you make it cool. You put a tip up every day. You put videos up. You run prizes. You go to nursing shoe companies and you get away a free pair of shoes. Like, create a community, and you'll have all the business that you want. Like, be a teammate, be someone who brings people together. Hey, I want my goal is to help 100,000 nurses do their job better. I know the challenges of this profession. I know that you often don't get the support. And as much as we help everybody else out to improve their, like, to save lives and whatever, but we need to look after ourselves. Like, make up the narrative and tell the story, and then back the story with a plan. Oh, yep, Zach's the guy who wants to help 100,000 nurses work pain-free or get an extra 5 years on their career without having to get medical retirement, or what they fear the most.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you think I should still follow through with the ebook and do the locker magnets?
Yeah, do it and test it. And but it's very passive, right? Like, that stuff is like, I hope a fish comes and jumps in my boat. Like, I'm going to take my boat out and I'm like, just going to sit there and wait and see if a fish jumps in my boat, where it's like, you can dynamite fish, There's going to be fish floating everywhere. You just put them in your net and go home and have a feast. Like, there's different strategies, and having direct conversations with people is going to be much more powerful and much more likely to be successful. I would like you to have a $2,000 offer for someone who's like, hey, Philip, how you going? Have a $2,000 offer for someone who's like, yeah, I've my career's at risk. I'm fucking sick of being in pain. I'm sick of being fat. Like, it's too hard. Just help me, Zach. Like, have a plan for them. You're gonna help them. You're gonna say, yeah, cool. Like, let's do daily accountability. Let's do meal plan. Come and train with me. Like, everything you could imagine, helping them. You're gonna jump on a Zoom call with them. Whatever. Like, we're gonna do whatever it takes. You're gonna get that result. Stop stressing. It's not that hard. We just need to do X, Y, Z, and take them on that journey. You want to have something that's a decent amount of money that you have to offer like that for the ones who do say that. But for now, it's just how do we matter? How do we exist? How do we create community? And by telling that mission story, like, why you're doing what you're doing, and the consequences of not doing it. You've looked around, you can't see anyone else doing it. Like, you love training, you've plugged into these elite training communities and just feel like nursing's missing something big. So have a go at telling that story in a reel. Have a go at telling your personal story in a reel, and have a go at telling the project story in a reel, and then give it to 5 other nurses and see what they say, and then fix it, and then give it to 5 more, and then fix it. And then if you can tell that story in a minute in a way that makes them cry, then you'll have a $1 million business. Right?
Wow. Cool. That sounds awesome. Should I keep my Instagram or start in?
You want to come up with a brand name for your, it doesn't really matter. You're starting from scratch. There's another guy I want you to talk to, Dan Dugan. He's been recruiting for nursing. He was in ATG and in Uncommon Success. We've been just talking again. He's American as well. He's just about to go over to Spain for a bit, but he's spoken to a lot of nurses, so he would be a good one to speak to. And I spoke to him about building this kind of product. He was considering it, so he would be a good one to speak to.
Nice.
And he's been through a lot of the Paul Council stuff and such as well. I think he did Gen of Freedom, or so yeah.
Awesome. I'll contact him for sure.
Well done though, getting this far, and I can see you want to do it. You're going to do it. It's just a question of how long it takes. Ultimately that doesn't matter that much. Like, you're doing fine with what you're doing, and but if we can make it shorter and better and help more people, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I love it. No, thank you for the advice.
Let me know how you're getting on.
Making videos and
We're in the Discipline Action Brotherhood there most days as well. It's like, it's a good way to do micro updates and check it in with myself, with other guys. I would suggest using that thing to get momentum. The other big piece is like learning to do sales. So like creating a sales script around how you would sell to a nurse, even if it's 6 months or 12 months from now. Like, start practicing as if, okay, this is how I sell a $2,000 product on a call. Because ultimately, you need to get more commitment from people to be able to help them a lot. It's difficult to help people a lot without them committing. Even ATG, like, because it's so cheap, most people who buy the thing don't really do it. It's the sad fact of it, but you want to have some people who really commit and get huge results with you. So that's going to be part of the journey as well. We're going to set up more support around that to make it easier to practice, but that'd be the other big piece to get used to, because you've got the opportunity to have conversations with them. So all you need to be able to do is have that conversation in a way that's like, yeah, well, that makes sense. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
They're buying stuff all the time anyway. They're buying whatever they're buying. Like, you make $100,000 a year, you don't end up with much at the end. So it all went somewhere. You may as well put some of it into learning skills for life and health, turning a corner, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're welcome to stay on and listen in. Philip is jumping in next, I believe. Jose and Daniel, you're also welcome to share thoughts or ideas here. You can use the chat or unmute. But I kind of talked all the way through that one. We'll open up a bit around the next ones. We've got some gaps as well. Philip, how you doing?
Yeah, Keegan, how are you? How's everyone?
Doing very well, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, but I guess we're kind of just like talking about just like what we're up to. I'm assuming so. So I'll just share like what's been going on. right now, like I've been going a lot of back and forth. I feel like this might resonate with Zach potentially, because I feel like there was like a sense of like, oh, like I need to have like that perfect like product right now. And like just to give some context, even for me, like this past year, basically, I've been trying to think like what it is that I really want to offer. And even when I signed up for like a connection call with Keegan on the description, I was like thinking like, yeah, like I've been going back and forth, and like I want to like potentially think about, you know, not just offering like a one-on-one personal training, but providing more like really focus on like creating like courses for people. And then now the recent thought I've been having, the more that I've been speaking with people, is that um, I actually want to go back to school for physical therapy or physiotherapy. And these have all been just like constant conversations that I've been having. And I really do agree with Keegan's. I at first I was kind of just like, oh, what does Keegan mean by constantly having like these like conversations with people? And like these conversations are very like powerful. Because I always thought to myself, whenever I talk with, you know, my friends and my inner circle, you know, they, you know, it's more of just like, hey, like how are you doing, and like how's everything going. But then when you're surrounded by people with like-minded aspirations, where they have goals of like, I want to create something, there's something about that sort of chemistry where it makes you really resonate of like, oh, like this is what I've been really trying to like be doing as far as like the goals and products that I want to create, and as far as helping people. And for me, a lot of the things that I've been going through is, you know, like I thought that going through the technology route of creating like software or being a software engineer was like the first thing to go. And then I pivoted again and realized that that's not for me. And then I ended up doing like a pre-sales job of like writing. And then I realized that also wasn't for me. And then I pivoted again and I became a taekwondo instructor. And then now I was like, okay, let's look into like coaching and one-on-one training. And then as I was building a brand, starting as a taekwondo instructor, and I was really focusing on flexibility training, I realized, oh, okay, like I thought like stretch strength was the way to go, and like promoting stretch strength. But then now I'm just like ever since getting injuries, and I realized, no, like stretch strength is something that's like really important, yes. But to me, I finally realized, and this might again just change and pivot just from my own experience and from my own conversations um, with the people of Uncom, where for me now is all about injury mitigation. What is the best way? Well, how can I absorb any sort of tools that I can, whether it be through range training, stretch strength, through ATG in general, also applying physiotherapy, traditional physiotherapy methods to really promote the idea of making injury prevention as an actual thing, because there's really no such thing as injury prevention, but you know, we could try and make that happen. um and so now I'm back in this path of, all right, let's go back to school for being a physical or physiotherapy therapist. And also that, and like right now, like I'm kind of thinking like, all right, I'm just going back to school for this and that. But then there's also like a lot of different endless opportunities of, I could work with sports team and also be the physiotherapist who applies those ATG principles and bridge the gap between ATG and, you know, the sports industry and whatnot. Or I could bridge the gap between like general rehab practitioners with ATG. So that's been on my mind as far as, and also just like what I've been up to right now is I'm looking back into school and at least doing, you know, community colleges and really shortening the time frame so that I don't have to spend too much money. But anyways, that's a shortened version that I could discuss about what it is that I've been up to, where I've been on this course of trying to create a one, you know, my premium offer. And then it all pivoted and transitioned and really been refined into this now, like, school is another actual investment that I have to make in order for, for this to work for me. And it doesn't mean that I'm still not going to refine that one offer that I want to create. All this means is that this is still part of that, refining and discovery process of what it is that I am trying to do for as far as what my mission is for the world. So yeah.
Cool. So what would the physical therapy degree or other along those lines give you that you don't have now?
The biggest one is definitely the credibility and experience. I feel like, to me, one of the most important things for me has just been that, I think it's also easy for me to not admit that building my own offering and putting myself out there is difficult. Everything that anything that we pursue, it is going to be difficult. There's going to be hard
Building a
work.
business is difficult. Is getting a degree difficult?
To me, it is, yes, that as well.
Okay.
Because I originally studied physical therapy as well, but then I ended up just changing the routes of, and I'll be honest here too, where for me, I wasn't doing well for physical therapy, and then I pivoted to different degrees where originally it was computer science, and then my grades weren't working out for that, and then I found that IT was a lot easier, so I ended up graduating with an IT degree, and it helped boost my GPA a lot. But then through that journey, I realized like I was going through the easy route. So it was not only just going through an easy route for me, but it was also so right now, like I'm just admitting to the fact that back then I just kept thinking about easy route, easy route, easy route. So
Does physical therapy, does getting a degree give you experience?
as far as experience goes, not really. It will give me experience when throughout the actual curriculum. It will give me the like they'll have like the clinical experiences that are required for me to do, where I had to,
You get that anyway?
yeah. So they're still part of the curriculum where I'll have to be in person and shadowing and whatnot. So
Yeah, but can you get that anyway? Can you like is there physical therapists within our network that would allow you to go on shadow?
yeah, I could still do that too. Mhm.
How much credibility does it give you to have a community college physical therapy degree?
Probably, if anything, it's that initial like, oh, like, who are you? Like, because I don't have that sort of testimonial background per se. So
You're still going to need the testimonial background. Do you know how many people have
right.
asked me what degrees I have?
Nope.
Do you know what degrees I have? So you could do it, but it's not going to solve the challenge that you have, which is that you don't believe in yourself and that you don't know how to do business yet. So
Right.
you can go and get more degrees, and it's going to cost you a lot of money and time and energy, but you're still going to have to deal with this. So it's fine if you want to do it, but it's not going to solve the problem. The problem is you don't know how to sell and you don't believe in your own ability to execute on what you want to execute on. I can tell you right now, because I've worked with lots of physical therapists, what we're teaching you about an approach to physical therapy is more valuable than what they're getting. Like I've had people comment on my YouTube videos, I've got a master's or I'm a PhD and whatever, and this is better than what I've been listening to and teaching. And like people literally commented that stuff on my YouTube videos about the range training because it is just it's a better model of dealing with injuries. So you're going to go and get a worse model of injuries. You're not going to get any better as far as your business and self-confidence, self-image side of things goes. It's still like I have a degree, But I've never had an athlete ask me, do you have a degree? Because I just act like I own the joint, because I do. Like,
Mm.
and that's the thing to work on, is like, how do you project confidence? How do you build confidence? There's techniques and things that you can work on to kind of trick confidence, but the way we do it in Uncommon Success is just become exceptionally good, where you know you're the most knowledgeable, most capable person in the room. And when you know that deep down, it's easier. So how do you get to that point? And you go through the personal transformation, what you're doing with having these calls, like put your knowledge together, organize your thoughts in a way that is coherent, and present them to people, present them to peers, and then start presenting them to others. The way I was speaking to Zach before, like, build a community around what you're doing. Start as a teammate. So if you know software engineers, or you know sales communities, start as a teammate and say, hey, I know what it can be like. Spend a lot of time at your desk or on the phone. Sometimes you don't feel energized then to develop your body. My passion is to help. I've found that doing this has helped me a lot. Who else is on this journey? And building community and offering support around that as a teammate can be an easier place to start. And initially, even having that conversation can be awkward, and getting someone to want to have a conversation with you, or wanting to get on a call, or wanting to have a look at the videos that you made, or the product that you have, or the ebook. Initially, that can be difficult, but that's business. Like, you're going to need to go through that anyway. Having a physical therapy degree is going to make zero impact on whether those guys want to do that with you or not. They're going to be much more interested in whether you have a six pack and whether you can jump, and that's going to always hold more credibility than the degree. You can do it. I'm not saying don't do it. Like, I have a degree, and it was useful because it helped me get a work permit to go to France and stuff. And it helped me to get jobs because I was working in pro sports, and it's almost a prerequisite to work in the professional teams that I worked in. But the vast majority of people who get degrees, especially in sports science, they don't like it. They don't end up wanting to do it. And the traditional physical therapy, like, a lot of those guys end up wanting to be more like trainers, because it's much more enjoyable to be more like a trainer than a physical therapist. Generally, often, even a lot of the chiros who've spent $200,000 or $300,000 on their education end up enjoying prescribing exercise and setting up little gyms on the side of their practices. And it comes down to business skills in the end. So, it's like you can get a personal training certification and be coaching people, and you're going to get 90% of the experience. And you could start helping people, working on things, and you just work on it exactly the way they talk about in ATG. You don't treat anything, you just get them back to full function. You just work on ability. If my approach, if I was doing that, would be to get the money and get results first. And then if I still want to get the degree, then I would go and get it, but I would already be winning in that industry, doing the thing, because at some point that dragon has to be slain anyway.
Right.
Sales, what have you sold?
Right now I haven't really sold anything as of yet. I have had a few sales calls though, but aside from that, I wasn't able to.
So you don't work in sales in some other, what's your job been?
So right now it's a taekwondo instructor, and then the sales job that I had is more of like a proposal job. So I would do like basically refining of like our sales pitch, and then we will give it to like public sector, like governments and whatnot, for them to kind of like choose out between different like bidding offers and whatnot.
Yeah. So there's a different style of thinking about that sort of stuff compared to jumping on a call with someone or writing text on a page that was going to make someone want to buy.
Right.
Would you say there's any carryover between them or not really?
I think more so than, because it's a very different ball game as far as like how the sales goes, because for that one it's more of like, okay, like how can I say things, pretty? How can I make this more, the offer more enticing? It's not the actual act of, actually talking with people and having that like the verbal experience of like being able to like
You can
be
sell from the page as well. Like Paul Council mostly
Right.
sells by words, like turning words into money is his thing. So it's really those skills, Philip, that at some point you have to have them regardless. If you want to, like, do you want to work in a hospital as a physical therapist, or like what would you want to do?
the main one is working with athletes, and
Yeah.
then it would probably be more geared towards like youth and college athletes.
Yeah. So athletes care less about, they just want the result. Like, and yeah, as a strength and conditioning coach, like people, it's always a possibility that you're going to teach them how to fix something. Like any athlete that I worked with, if I felt like I could help them with something, they would never say, or it would be rare for them to say, oh, you're not, like I'm listening to the physio on this. Like if they've got just a recent serious injury or something, like then it might be, but generally you're already qualified if you're in the gym. And with your flexibility, like you have some credibility through that. If you can move like a Taekwondo athlete, and that has a lot of credibility in terms of the elasticity and stuff. So it's more it's the internal journey that's going to need to happen regardless.
Right.
Athletes aren't going to work with you because you got a degree. They're going to work with you because you have something special to offer. And the way you get to that point is by getting great results with yourself and then with others, and getting yourself in the environment, going to the gyms where good things are happening, getting around coaches that are doing great things. And gradually you believe in yourself more. And yeah, that tends to be the journey.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
You can still, like, the thing of like, stretch strength versus I heal all injuries, whatever. It's about having something that people can associate, like in terms of being online, having something people can associate you with is the key. Like, and the narrower that is initially, the easier it is. So if it's just like, I help people get ankle mobility, like that's easier to sell than I'm a physical therapist. Like no one cares. Where if you help ankle mobility, then there's a percentage of people like, yep, I'm looking for someone who helps with ankle mobility.
All right.
Like Taekwondo, you have super high function ankles, right? Like calf complex, feet, barefoot. Like, right. So there's a story around that. Same with hips, but if choosing one of those as like, I'm amazing at this and I get really good results, you're away. Like even within Uncom, if you're like, hey, anyone got any issues with ankle or hips? Like, I'm your man. If you just gave yourself to that, dedicated yourself to get 20 great results, that'd probably put you further ahead than doing your degree. Because you'd have testimonials from different accents around the world and experiences with it. Get 20 face-to-face, get 20 online, and then tell me if you want to do the degree or not. Like, if you still want to do it, good, but it's just the fact that you haven't, like, it's another form of procrastination, really. Does it, yeah. Would you, like, you have a think about it, and if you might feel differently about it. I'm just telling you where my perspective, and I've seen a lot of guys go through this.
All right. No, yeah, I definitely understand that perspective. It's something that is still that I would have to think about as well. So yeah.
But you've already had some results with people, right? You've been doing work. So I would focus on getting more of that. And because it's going to have a big cost in time and money to go to a degree.
Right.
If you put 20% of like 1/20th of the effort that it's going to take to do that degree and the money, and put that into seeing if you can get some really good results in the next few months, that you'll be a lot further along to know whether it's worth the sacrifice of all that time, money, effort, distraction. Like, you're also going to be around average people who are like uninspired. That's one of the worst things about going to college. It's not just, there's lots of different costs to it. That's one of the hidden costs, is like, it's a shitty environment where people are going in funny directions.
Yeah.
You got to fight against that. Like, you're going like, oh fuck, I'll get through this thing to get to the other side. You should pay a bunch of time and money to feel like that. Like,
Right. Yeah.
what are you hearing here, Jose? Is you listening in through the conversations with Zach and Philip?
I began very interested in both of them. About Zach, I wanted to ask him why he chose like a niche of nurses, understanding that he's a nurse. I wondered why he didn't like choose to make the ebook available to all healthcare workers, and maybe expand his like markets. Just as an idea, like why would he limit himself to the 25,000 people like inside of his group?
It's 25,000 in his building, his department. Nursing is so big that it's better to be for nurses generally in business. Like, the smaller you niche down and the more specific, the more people will pay for it and the easier it is to sell. So if he just says, I help everyone become holistically better, which is what a lot of people do, then you help no one. No one feels like that message is for them. Where if you say, I help nurses get out of pain and you lose fat so they can work better, like, that's, if you're a nurse, then you're like, oh, that's finally someone who talks to me and he knows all the language of nurses. Like, that's where his competitive advantage is in the market. Like, it's generally a much better thing to do business-wise. Doesn't mean it couldn't work the other way. And generally you go expansive later. You start really specific, find 50 people who want to pay you some money so you can turn that into your business and quit your job. And then you gradually go to try and become a $1 billion empire. But to find those first 50, the more specific years is like female women over 40, like fat, back pain, is enough of them. Like, you'd be better off going like super specific.
That's interesting. It changes a bit of my plans, so I'll definitely keep that in mind. And about the college aspect of the conversation, I am a college dropout. I did 6 years in med school and quit because I had terrible health. So I agree that college for me was not the path towards my goals, and I do not intend to go back there. I also believe I gained some knowledge which allowed me to reach ATG, which was great, because without that previous knowledge, I would not have found the solutions you provided. The long versus short range video changed my life. For me, I intend to gain credibility at my work because I have like proof of full body joint degeneration. Like, my spine is super messed up, my discs are compressed. So by reverting that and like trying to get visual proof of being able to reverse chronic damage, I intend to use that as a way to sell my products eventually. Initially trying to be a coach and also trying to write a book, which was intended to be like a holistic for everyone. Like, the idea was how to repair a human is the idea that I had in mind, but it's definitely something I'm just starting. So it's a working process and a thoughts in process. You know what I mean?
Where are you from, Jose?
Uruguay.
Yeah, very cool. We're my family and I are likely to spend some time in Paraguay from later this year, maybe in a month or two.
Yeah.
Going down. Yeah, we have one other player there in Buenos Aires as well. I don't know if you've connected yet.
Augusto.
Yeah.
Or no, right?
I think
I have not met him yet.
you were studying medicine there in Uruguay?
I actually studied in Buenos Aires.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, but now I'm back in Uruguay because I failed like med school. That I also agree with Philip that for me a degree was not easy, but because my mind was all wrong, like every habit about me was wrong. I was eating wrong, working out wrong, sleeping badly. Like all of my habits were messed up. I just needed a change.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to pursue now. That's change.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that. And yeah, the next call here is with George. George,
Hey, how we doing?
very well. We've got Philip here who's thinking about jumping into a physical therapy degree and specializing in hip mobility taekwondo. And Jose from Uruguay. Philip's in California, yeah?
Oh, I'm in East Coast, New Jersey.
Oh, you're in New Jersey, the other end, other side completely. And Jose's in Uruguay and is into the ATG stuff and yeah, fixing his body, rebuilding, recovering from medical school. You're Madeira, is it?
I am. I'm actually on the north side of the island at the moment, middle of nowhere.
All right. Is that the quiet part?
Yeah. It's I don't know. Yeah, so you can see it's the jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's friend of mine's exploring a house out here. He's got quite a good business going, but it's he wanted us to check it out, and it's cool.
Very cool.
But it's great to meet you guys. Uruguay and New Jersey.
Yeah. So we've been talking about George, to give the guys a bit of context. You got a gym in Bristol, right?
That's right.
In England, and you're running that remotely, and we're thinking about online income built around the world, but also how to potentially leverage having a physical gym and all the network and goodwill you've built in Bristol to make more money. So we've been solving for that. We had a call last week, continuing the conversation today.
It's yeah, I was like pleasantly surprised by the idea. I spoke to my coaches there, and they'd all be happy to get involved. They didn't really understand the system, how it worked. They didn't know. Like one of them was saying, she's very good. She's managed a lot of people, and she was wondering whether it'd be a good idea to have that many PT sessions and then going forward. But as you mentioned, as long as we get people in the first 3 months and 12 weeks, then we're not really worried, and we can adjust to what they want after. I thought, like today, I wanted to talk about a little bit about marketing and like what way to spread the word throughout Bristol.
Yeah.
But I was going to talk to my old clients. I've got a few in mind that might go for it. I'll just speak to everyone, but see who wants. I was also wondering if it'd be a good idea. This is my inexperience talking. Of going for a slightly lower price for the first, and then incrementally building up to the grand a month. But if you don't think it's necessary, then just bite the bullet and go for it. But
what do you think for the ones you're going to offer it to?
Off the top of my head, there's a couple that might go for 1,000, but I think most of them would be delighted, like they would be attracted to the thought of having such tangible metrics. So the blood work and everything, I think, and the extra support outside the gym would be attractive to them, but I'm not sure how invested they would be in spending that much money, or how invested they'd be to the point that they could spend that much money. But so I don't know if it would be, again, this is my experience.
Yeah, you could also downsell it, like take some component out of it and say, you know, you want to do it without the X. My understanding of your position is that you don't need everyone to say yes, that it's like more of a high-end thing that you want to offer and find some more elite, higher, you know, get some really top case studies of how good things can get. And so it's like a direction in having a more elite group, and you don't want to sell it to everyone in a way. Like, is that fair to say? Because otherwise it's just pretty much like
you're absolutely right. Yeah, I think you're right, absolutely right. And I think I'm just talking out of desperation. I think I'm like, I want people to take it. So I'm thinking like, how can I get people to take it? And also I've never charged that much before.
Yeah.
So that's why I keep saying it's my inexperience, because I ignore it, because I see my fiance a bit off track, but she's a neuroscientist. She's writing a book, and she's done the incremental thing where she's like charged for coaching, and she's now charging £1,000 a month for coaching. And she thought it was madness to charge £200 a month. And now that she's done it, she's like, yeah, you can't pay, like, I won't do anything for less than $5,000, like an hour or whatever, like whatever the prices are. Like, she's completely leveled up, and I can see her mind shift change.
Yeah.
Her mindset change or shift. And I'm looking to do the same, but I just haven't had the experience, the tangible experience to
that's
do so.
It's your comfort zone, right? So the goal here, like if you're negotiating with someone, I've been listening to Dan Pena. Have you heard Dan Pena, the $15 billion man? So I'm listening to his book, and he says, like, when you're negotiating a deal with someone, like, they've got a comfort zone, and if you go right in the middle of their comfort zone, you'll definitely get the deal. But he says, like, when I'm working out a deal with someone, I always work out like what the edge of their comfort zone is, and then I always, you know, do the deal to that point, because they're going to be comfortable with it, but it's going to be more, you know, favorable as well. So for you with this at the moment, I want you to be on the edge of your comfort zone, but not, you know, way beyond it, that you're definitely not going to sell it, that you're going to get on the call like already self-defeated, like no one's ever going to buy this. I just want to prove to Keegan no one's ever going to buy it. Like, that's not you know what I mean? But, but it needs to be the point where it's like, oh, fuck yeah. If I'm going to be pumped when someone buys this, and like, I know it's a good price, it's challenging, but let's go. You know, that's what I want. It should feel like it's not the end price. Like, if you refine this and continue to build it with your network, like, it's very possible you could be selling this at, it could be a 10 grand package for 3 months, sort your life out, get your blood work done, get on a new path. Could include a stay in Portugal or something that you're going to like, exclusive club. Like, it's definitely within your wheelhouse to get to something way more than £1,000 a month. It's just, it's a starting point. And of course you're rolling in that face-to-face and stuff as well, but I'm building you towards the idea that they'll buy that anyway without the gym connection to it. Like, that's where I'm going with this, is that you sell in 12, you know, and you can, then you sell it for 3 months, but then you sell it for 6 months, and you sell it for 12 months, then you sell it for 24 months. Like, some people are just going to be like, yeah, this is great, I just want to keep getting healthier, and every month I'm better. Happy days. Like, I finally found someone who understands me that gets results, and the product evolves as you go. And you'd be like, yeah, how could I even possibly entertain someone progresses for 24 months with this? But by posing yourself the question, you can, and you got neuroscience on your side, and you could, like, what else could you include in the offer? And like, it's when you're on that creative plane of like, okay, I have to come up with something to lead the industry, you know, then you will. And yeah, absolutely.
No, I feel you, and I can see it happening already. So the first client I got in LA, just happenstance referral. Like, it was a nice little piece of coincidence, but he like, I charged him £450 for the month, and he was like relieved. He's like, okay, cool, yeah. And like, all I'm offering all the, like, the stuff we know, the basic stuff, like the exercise, the nutrition and stuff, and he actually is pretty good at it already. He was a reasonably high level athlete back in the day, but it's more about like he's in a high level, high pressure job, and the relief on his face just to know that he has some guidance and support in this journey, in this side of life, was like, oh, it backed up the feeling that we're charging this money for a reason. Like, it's an easy sell. Like, there's no reason to doubt why we should be charging £5,000-6,000 a month, because he was like, yeah, 100%, I need this, just take it. It was almost like, oh fuck, I should charge more, but at the same time, it was nice just to get the client.
it's all again, the money's there. And if you're selling it as a discrete 3-month journey that they're going to have a specific outcome from in that 3 months, then it's also more valuable versus this is an ongoing subscription to £1,000 a month. That's a bigger decision for people. But if it's like, it's £3,000, you're going to get 3 months worth of this work, and then we can reevaluate. And as I said, like, you'll work it out whether they want to just continue doing exactly like, okay, let's do that again. That worked really well, but let's do it better. Same deal. Let's go. Or go into maintenance, or they want more help. They want to come and see you in Madeira and spend a week, and it's $5,000 or whatever, like for a week-long experience. Like, you work it out as you go, but getting your mind into this frame and dealing with, like, these are the people you want to deal with as well, isn't it? Like, so yeah, in terms of like getting the word out, marketing, the best thing is word of mouth, and that is a really soft sell. It's like, hey, I'm doing like these new high-end transformations. I'm wondering if, like, I know you move in good circles and you're the kind of client that I really enjoyed working with. Like, would you know anyone who'd be looking for that kind of experience? And you share a little bit about it.
I don't know why I didn't think this is so dumb. This is why, like, you're Keegan. I don't know why I didn't think of referrals within my community. I was just thinking of, like, I'm going to start with my community and then I'll try and go outwards instead of trying to reach their community through them. Because I know, like, a couple of lawyers that I was working with, but they'll have like very rich lawyer friends, and would probably appreciate, and they're like all gun ho, and yeah, that's so dumb of me. But yeah, appreciate. Yeah, that's a great idea, 100%.
It's also a soft sell. They'll be like, like, I'm up for that. Like, I'm looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a good chance some will say, yeah, like 100%, I'm in for that, and I'll ask my buddies, but you're not actually selling it to them. It takes some of the pressure out of it for you as well. And they can ask the price and stuff without it being about you selling them. It's like, oh yeah, and how much is it going to cost my buddy? And then they'll be like, oh, yeah, sweet, let's go. That can be a really nice way to, and you genuinely do want to connect with people like them, and you do like them. Are you thinking about any sort of face-to-face connection with it yourself, like anything in Portugal or heading back there at all?
So I've been working, you know what, I'm not shy to say, I've been working fucking hard to get this house in Madeira, just going through accounts and dealing with banks and dealing with credit advisor stuff. And yesterday I sent a pretty big email with a lot of data, and hopefully the banks will be happy enough. It's really simple, but it's been fucking complicated for some reason. And we've got land with 6 acres on it and a big warehouse, and we're kind of on the edge of setting something up where we could do retreats. I'm also got 4 locations for retreats that I was going to wait till this house thing went through, that we want to open up. And I was thinking of doing a high-end thing there. I've got someone else involved that like is ready to do something like a 2-day retreat just to test things out, run like beta testing essentially. But yeah, so essentially that, when you spoke about including the trip to Madeira as part of the package, I was like, if I've got things set up at home and I've got like a few cabins and I can make it legit, then yeah, I could just make it a week included in the monthly package. So
yeah, you could include, like, with for every 6 months you do, or every 3 months you do, you get a 4-day stay or something. If you want to do stuff like that, or you could say, like, yeah, there's a quarterly event on anytime over the next 12 months that you want to come to that event. Like, that's probably the better way to do it,
that's it, yeah.
And then yeah, you can package that into it. So then the perceived value is much higher, and it's also a bit cooler for the buddy to talk to his other lawyers friends. Is like, yeah, and at some point we're going to go head out to Madeira, and they can spend some time with you, and they can do some whatever else they want to do. They've got an excuse to get away, and they're, whatever they want to do, whether they're like playing golf or whatever's on the mind. You give them an excuse to that. Like, I think it's pretty attractive for the kind of clients that you're thinking about as well. And you could put it out there as like, we're going to open these up later in the year or 2024, and those who've been through the program are going to have access to it. So it doesn't have to be that you already have all the photos and everything. Like, at some stage you're going to do it, and then you could use the third-party venue if you ever needed to, if something, for whatever reason, you can't get your own venue going, and they'll be fine with paying for a hotel or whatever. Like, it's more that you're going to curate the experience.
Right. Okay. No, I think the third party venue would be ideal for now, also because just keeping it in personal in that sense of just having somewhere that is set up to manage to serve to create a nice service for people, because the guy opening something up that could be cool. So I think for now, whilst even if we do get the house soon or the land soon, until we have it really set up, it would be good to use someone else. But yeah, I hear you loud and clear. That's a great idea.
So how many calls?
Hello.
How many calls are you going to make? Toby's up next here. Welcome, Toby.
Hey, Toby.
How many calls are you going to make?
Do you think cold call or cold email? Because I have 30 clients, I'll make 30 calls tomorrow, mate.
I would think calls. But
yeah,
what do you think? You know them as well.
I have a couple. So there was, for example, off the top of my head, there's a couple of accountants that wouldn't want to be disturbed.
Yeah.
Like they like one of them, a woman, was like probably needed the service more than anyone. I could guarantee, like, again, it's that metrics thing. Like, if I can guarantee you're going to end up this way, she would probably love it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she would get annoyed if I text her for too long. If we were like sorting something out.
Yeah. Play it personally there if you know them.
Yeah.
But if there's some that you're kind of friendly with, like, it'd be good to get a feel for just how it's received. And I mean, you could also practice it with some of the uncom players first if you wanted to just speak it out and just see how it flows. Chris O'Toole really wants to help out with some sales stuff. He's from the States. He did a lot of sales training for fitness. We had a big conversation just before. I think he'd be happy for you to present what the idea is, and you might learn something from that as well if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'll look him up now. I'll book a call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've booked a call as well with Crystal. I see, with George. You just spoke to him earlier. Let me see what his name is. George Birch.
Yeah.
I booked a call with him tomorrow, so we'll chat about where he's at.
Did he contact you or?
He did, yeah. He said you mentioned.
Yeah, you're pretty similar situation. He's still got the gym, but he's dealing with high end people there. In my son just wanted to play a game for me. I've got 2 stones.
Sweet.
He's dealing with high end people in southern England. Could be a good alliance as well. That could be a good go and see him type deal as well, like an affiliate type. You need network for them to, hey, go take your buddies down, train with someone that's good. He's a good operator. He's sharp.
Yeah.
Got a nice little gym down on the south coast of England. He'd probably love to bring crew over to Portugal as well. I think that'll be a nice connection. He's big into the ATG stuff.
Yeah, that would be sick. Then another group, another demo. Yeah, sick. Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll book a call with Chris. I've got my call booked with George, and I guess I'll let you carry on with Toby.
Good to chat. Looks like a beautiful spot you're in there, man. You're living the dream.
Thanks, man.
Bristol.
Look forward, 100%. I look forward to having you boys over soon. It'll be great to have everyone over.
Yeah, can't wait. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Keegan.
Okay. Toby.
Hey.
How you doing?
Everyone. I'm doing pretty good. I don't know where you guys want me to start. If I should give some context of what I've been up to. So if you guys don't know, I'm in the military and I'm getting out pretty much next year. I'm pretty happy. I did most of the paperwork. I'm getting, it takes people a long time to get out because like their unit, the leadership kind of like doesn't give them a lot of time. But because I've been shipped to the gym, 2 days on, 2 days off, which is a very unusual schedule. I'm one of the managers there. So I just work from 5 a.m. to 13 or 1 o'clock. And I've been up to a lot of things. I haven't, like, if I was to show you my timeline, I know exactly where like a general rough area, like, hey, I'm doing this thing in September, a big ticket item to get out. I know this other month, like I have a lot of things. I'm thinking a lot of things. Like I want to go potentially, if given the privilege, go see Uncom Village right after I get out the military. Like that's like exactly like there's no one can ask me a question. No one, I don't have to submit any paperwork. My leadership doesn't have to ask, hey, who is this person? Is this a spy? Is this, I mean, we caught a couple of spies before, so which is funny, but that's one of the big things I'm thinking of. Like, I don't know like who to talk to, how that process works, or what village to go to, but like that's exactly on my mind, the
Yeah.
village.
I think Mexico and Montenegro should both be functional at that point, and maybe that it looks like there'll be something else maybe in Portugal, or there'll be probably some other things popping up by that, depending on. Are you thinking earlier in 2024 or later?
I get out exactly. So this is how it's going to work. So technically I get out in August 9th of next year. But if my commander, which they're very good on like letting me check out. They're not like assholes about it, if that makes sense. So I plan to use my remaining vacationing days or leave days so I can get out a month earlier, July 9th instead. Well, as close to that date. So between July 9th and August, like somewhere around that time. I can't guarantee exactly the day I can get out of my contract, but I can guarantee you within those 2-month time frames, I will get out.
So yeah, I understood. That's it's exciting, man. You've put a lot of time in service there, and it seems as though you've been looking forward to the next phase. So yeah.
Yes. So that's what I have in mind. Like I have that slot. Like for me personally, I guarantee like those 2 dates because I can't, I'm legally bound to finish my contract. Second, it depends on the commander's choice if he wants to let me. I've been on the good side, never got in trouble with the law or anything, so I don't see a reason why he want to hold me back. But between those 2 months, I guarantee myself, like I committed myself, like I want to go to Uncom, like exactly the day I get this piece of paper saying I am a free man and I cannot be recalled back. Oh, I want to buy the ticket ahead of time, just fly from Monogram, like go to family, drop all the junk I don't need to bring on a plane, and just go straight to the village. And like,
you got a passport?
Yes, I do. My dad, like, this is the good thing. My dad will come like before that time and give me my passport. Like, here's your passport. Here you go. So that's like that. That's the timing. Like everything I have really planned everything out from now. I actually plan out way earlier.
Yep.
To the end of my contract.
You've been working hard on your BJJ as well, right?
Yes, I've been working hard on that. I took a break from that, and I will be upfront with you. I'm actually glad I took a break because if I was doing BJJ, I wouldn't like get a lot of other things done. I wouldn't be like, for example, I can track all my finances now. I'm not trying to be like a thrifter or anything, but it's just good to know, like, okay, this is my spending habits. I didn't know that, or like it's really interesting. And plus, it's like just being a good steward, which I believe in, like that. Being a better tracker, like I can track everything with my Notion. Like Notion's like my second best friend, and like I can like organize things, and like that's the power I've been using. Like I've been just working on like Notion, so I organize literally everything. Any notes like this call, I organize in my Notion. Like everything goes into my Notion. So anywhere in the world I go to, I can just pull it up. Boom. The other things I've been thinking about too, on my mind, like, so I've been doing some copywriting too. That's another thing I want to work on, and I've been talking with Mr. Clayton. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with John Clayton. Doing some copywriting.
Yep.
So that's what I've been up to, and then that's something I could develop like a side income because I have already secured like pretty much. It's not 100% guaranteed, but like at least a source of income as I transition out. So that's what I have in mind, like just a source of income, working on copywriting. And another project I've been talking with Mr. John is that for me, my focus is, I know a lot of people here are coaches, and like for me personally, I want to go into like potentially the public speaking realm, if that makes sense. I don't know if you kept up with that or noticed that, but that's something I'm thinking of going in, like maybe starting like an uncom public speaking club, like bring Toastmasters, but bring that model into uncom, help new players introduce each other, help people get better at public speaking because a lot of people don't think
Have you done
about that.
Toastmasters?
Say again?
Have you done Toastmasters?
Yes, I have done Toastmasters before. I'm very familiar with it. And it's very interesting too to study because I want to rejoin again, get the groove into it, like just practice more public speaking in front of strangers. It's easy to do in front of friends because they're your friends, but do it in front of strangers who don't know you and probably don't care about you yet. That's the fun thing. And I really want to study the system because when it comes to this niche, they pretty much dominate. Like they have clubs within each other, and I noticed they don't cannibalize each other. Like for example, McDonald's, they build systems, but they build them far enough so they don't cannibalize each other, their sales. But Toastmasters, it's really interesting. They could have like a beginner club, but they can have right next to it an advanced club, and avoiding killing each other's club and just study their culture and how they do things too, and network too, because a lot of good public speakers have come from the Toastmaster system.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I think understanding that system and learning about it and initiating something around that is really a good idea. Like, yeah, we should organize an event. Like, you put forward a proposal and we can set something up that's along those lines. We've done quite a lot of it in the past where players present. Well, it's always been something that I've done in my businesses when I've run seminars. I always get the more experienced guys up to share something, teach something, and it's very important for personal growth. So I would love to get something going. Have you spoken with Max Hernandez?
Max Hernandez, I scheduled a call with him. Well, we tried yesterday, but he was doing an event, and it's like it went longer than anticipated. So we're trying next week instead. So I'm planning to talk to him about copywriting, that's for sure, and whatever that comes up.
He's quite into event planning at the moment. So those two things come together. Like let's plan an event around something along these lines. And with the cool thing with Uncommon Success is everyone is pretty much on some sort of mission, and they have some specialized knowledge to share. They have a project that they want to get the word out on. So this will be a really valuable thing to put forward. I've been wanting to do one. I've just been working hard on different projects, launching the Future Expander and the Discipline Action Brotherhood, and that the events kind of get pushed back when I'm working on a big project. But
That's
Sorry,
yeah.
brother. I need to go, but thanks again for the call, boys.
Yeah,
I'll speak to you soon.
See you soon.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Also, one more thing I could say is I've been working on spiral dynamics, talking with trolls, and then I bought this assessment that was in the chat. I was like, okay, $100. I know that's gonna be worth it. I'd buy it. For some reason, I'm still waiting on it. I don't know why I can't just take the test right away, but I'm talking with him because I know inherently, I haven't taken the assessment yet, but I mean, I know for a fact, just knowing my culture and knowing like the military culture on top of that, like it's a double sandwich. It's very blue. Like it's a very blue culture, like respect your parents, don't curse the sky, things like that. Respect the rank, respect the leadership. So that's why I want to know like how I am as a person so I can transition from blue. Don't get me wrong. He said like not all colors are evil, like structure is good, etc. But I want to be able to channel it, one, in a positive way, and second, grow other colors like orange, for example, or whatever colors that I want to be in, and exceptional for my growth.
Yeah, it's really what we're building here with this environment is an environment where it is fertile ground for expansion. The environment is asking you to expand into having better business skills, to expand into being able to build solutions that reach beyond yourself. Like these are the components of the spiral that we're looking to bring forth. And yeah, it'll be cool to see your result once you've so you haven't taken the test yet?
No, I bought it and I was clicking around. I'm gonna ask the website like, hey, I bought this thing. Maybe because it was in pound, it was in euros. And in the US, like we use the dollar for now.
Yep.
So
When did you
that's
buy it?
say again.
When, did you just buy it today or yesterday or?
Last night.
Yeah.
It was just processing my transaction.
Yeah.
I
Maybe they
thought
don't work on weekends or something as well.
yeah. So, but regardless, I'm gonna take the test anyway. It should be by some point today. It should be ready. Then I just take the assessment, and then other last two projects, not projects per se, but I've been buying about an ounce of silver, 4 ounce of silver. That's what I've been up to monthly. That's right now. I allocate like a budget for that. Like, hey, like just buy. I know it's a little bit. It's not the most, but it's a start. So that's what I've been
Well,
up to.
the mentality is key, Toby, because once you're out of the military and you got a bit more time to yourself, then you have the opportunity to exponentially increase your income. If you can exponentially increase your skills and your value, and if you already have that habit built in of some of what I earn stays with me, you know, if that is already built into your habits, then it's just a question of scaling what's coming in, and then you're going to continue to look at, okay, well, how am I going to store this?
Yes. That's exactly what I want to do once I start having that time because things will change again in November when I head back to the unit. This gym thing I'm on is not forever, so I will head back to the unit. But I plan to get out of the unit again with an internship. So I was like, you know what, I'll just like, hey, I'm good. So that's what I've been up to in terms of projects. That's all I can think of right now in terms of.
Great to hear, man. It's nice to speak to you, and yeah, I feel your energy there, and I love that willingness to get involved on the Toastmaster. I think that's a string to pull on, man. Like that could be your new life, or at least one key component of it. If you're encouraging others to improve their speaking skills, individual coaching, feedback, you know, and you don't have to be the guru, just be the guy on the journey. Be learning from the best, and then but you're accessible where the best are not necessarily accessible, and then gradually you work to become the best. Then
that's the plan. I see this as a long-term commitment of like several years. That's like the way I'm seeing this. It's like this is not like some slow. It's a slow march.
Yeah, it all takes time, but time's gonna pass, so you may as well.
Yeah, and oh yeah, last thing, handstands. I love that. Like I do as much as I can a day. If it depends. Like sometimes I did ATG yesterday, and it's like plus the leg therapy. Mr. Reeb mentioned my legs have gotten a lot better. So it's like, and then I did only 15 minutes because I was so exhausted from sailing yesterday. I went to the middle of the ocean, and it was pretty scary, but it was fun.
Very cool. Yeah, it's great to hear as well. The handstand is a great tool to add. I want you to meet Jose. He's down in Uruguay. He's shared a little bit about his background. He did medical school and he's been fixing his body. And I'd like to hear a bit more, Jose, about what you're working on. And yeah, like since you've been listening here all the way through, even though you weren't booked in, but it'd be good to hear what you're working on.
Yes, Jose. What's his last name? Because I want to know.
Vera.
Jose.
Nice to meet you, Joey.
Yes, nice to meet you. Oh, Jose Vera. Nice to meet you too. Oh, am I muted? I think I am. Not muted. Nice to meet you, Jose.
Same. So at this moment, I'm working on becoming an ATG coach. I'm dealing with an injury in my hip. So I'm guessing like in 2 months from now, I should be certified. I have few clients at the moment, only one. So I'm trying to gain more clients and engaging in conversations at the gym and trying to like really, for people are starting to see what I do and asking questions and like becoming curious about it. So I'm trying to expand my clientele and getting certified. I'm also writing the book I mentioned. And for the moment, that's about it. But I also want to start like probably next year after my body is more balanced and I can move more freely. I would like to start like an audio visual version of how to repair a human in Spanish, because I find that a lot of the value provided by ATG and the community is in English. And there's a lot of Spanish speaking people who have no idea about anything about ATG, and I believe is a way I could add value to the community of Spanish-speaking people. But I haven't really started working on the videos yet because I lack the skills. So I'm also studying this in order to be able to engage in that in the future. Where are you from, Toby?
I'm in Oceanside, California. If you don't know where that is, that's about
Yeah.
1 hour away from San Diego. San Diego is a big city on the map, so that's where I am right now.
Great.
And you are from
Uruguay, Montevideo, South America.
Roger that. Maybe we can talk and like see what you can do. I'd be
Absolutely.
curious. Definitely,
Sounds
I'm
good.
writing. Okay, got you. Okay, so I wrote that down. I'll reach out to you. I will reach out to you later today. So.
Sounds good, brother.
But it's really cool that.
Yeah. So the priority, Jose, is to increase conversations that you're having or get clients. Like, is that the next step, or what do you see as the key next step or the current challenge as well?
My main priority is absolutely getting pain-free. Like that is my number one priority. Like, I have to get pain-free because it's driving me nuts. Like I've been in severe pain for 15 years and it takes a toll, And so once I get that fixed, which is also like partly psychologically based because of stress. So that's my main priority. And money is not exactly my main priority right now because I come from a privileged background, but I also want obviously to make it on my own and like thrive on my own. But getting pain-free is absolutely my main objective at the moment. So I work on that like at least 2 hours per day. And also recently I stopped smoking cannabis. So getting sober is a current objective of mine. I also stopped drinking. Just working on my health in general, like I'm trying to improve my mental state, my mental clarity, like being able to read more and to retain more information, to get my thoughts clearer, just holistic health, in order to be able to thrive better.
How old are you?
30.
Yeah. Congratulations on making the change, man. It's a beautiful thing. Like it's.
Thank you. And thank you really, because you were a big part of that. So thank you.
I'm happy to hear that. Like I've been on paths that I didn't want to be on in life as well. And it's a beautiful thing when you move in a different direction and you feel proud and you get momentum. And yeah, there's a lot of men here who will want to see you do well. I'm one of them, but there's a, we love these stories and we all have them to some degree as well. So it's a good thing. So what's your diet like at the moment?
Mostly, I would say about 80 to 90% meat, and the other 10 to 20%. I love honey, but right now I don't have any. Some fruits, but it's hard to get organic fruit in here, so maybe bananas. And also, like every now and then, I indulge in like a pizza and some chocolate just because I enjoy it. But I'm trying to make that less and less as time goes by. I'm trying mostly meat.
Yeah, you have good meat there. It's one of the prides of
pasture meat.
Yeah. And so, if you did overcome this stuff, what do you want to do with your life?
Well, there's a lot of things. Like on the long term, I'm not sure the word is concerned about the 2030 agenda. They're trying to take meat away from the planet. It's being done. It's also the cash. And so one of my main objectives is really to try to save the meat industry in Uruguay. Like somebody has to protect this kind of things. And there's a lot of people doing this. And I know in English, like people like Joe Rogan and Ben Patrick and yourself and Jordan Peterson, they're all making these big changes and trying anti-system changes. But I don't see that in Spanish. So I figured like one of my main long-term objectives is to try to preserve what we have, the good aspects here in Uruguay, which is the meat and the culture, and also try to make try to make the system better. I get the idea that there's not much we can do about how the state of politics is right now and how to change the educational system and such. But I also believe that if this is broken, it can be fixed. Like humans broke this, so humans can fix this. That's like my mindset right now. But I know in order to be able to achieve that, I would need influence, I would need money, I would need recognition, a name. So in order to get there, I first have to work a lot on myself so that I plan to like shine better, you know what I mean? Like try to, so as to be able to make a name for myself, get the money and the influence in order to really make a change. That's my long-term objective.
That's beautiful, man. I appreciate you sharing that. And I was in a somewhat similar position at a similar age, maybe like 20, 28, 29 is when I really started to get serious about doing something. And yeah, it took me till about 32. I started to really do something. So, you know, that's, yeah, you're similar stage in life. And my last 10 years has been really good. I've built a family and helped. I had a lot of connections around the world and built a lot of good things. And I hope, you know, I'm here on your team to support you to do the same. And I would love to have whatever positive impact I can on meat industry in Uruguay as well. You know, something that a lot of men in our network feel passionate about internationally. So yeah, I encourage you. What helped me, because I had like chronic fatigue around that time, like 27, 28. I slept on floors a lot in Mexico. I had a lot of gut problems and just pushed myself really hard and lived really poor for a long time. And I had chronic fatigue symptoms. I couldn't train very well. And I was a mess. What I found was that by focusing on my mission, as well as trying to improve myself, like I just kept getting better. And every year I was a little bit better. And I did feel like an imposter. Declan has known me for many years now. And I'd go to these events and fly around the world, and it took a lot out of me. And I was still kind of healing and improving. But every year I've been more confident, been able to rely on my physiology more. And yeah, now at 40, like I'm better than I've been. And yeah, that's what I would love for you to experience as well. And I think you will if you keep moving in that direction. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Declan's over in Ireland, and we've been doing things. He came to events in Ireland and in Spain, and he has fulfilled his dream of working with elite athletes, and he's done a lot of good work with elite athletes in Ireland, and he's progressed with his business as well, and he's just committed again to the next phase of working together. So we're starting the conversation here. Jose's in Uruguay, and you just heard a bit of what he's up to. He's overcoming some stuff and got a good mission there. Toby's about to leave the US military this time next year. He's big into BJJ and Toastmasters, and he's been coming on the journey with us for a year and a half, 2 years now as well. He's been doing the work. He loves the Paul Council stuff as well. Good to see you, Dirk.
You too.
How you doing?
Not too bad, no, not too bad. Go on.
What's on your mind?
Just obviously committed a couple of weeks back. And probably didn't give the start to deserve, but just looking to kick on now and commit to like the program deserves, to be honest with you.
The future expander could be a good. So we've got a couple of new features out. I don't know if Mav spoke to you about them, but the future expander There's a 25-day, there's a short video each day with a few questions off the back of it. And it's been really useful to sort of kickstart into what we're doing now with Uncommon Success. Quite similar to what I've done over the years with Real Movement and that, but there's some changes. And so that could be a good way to get your rhythm with this and meet some of the other men and kind of get in the energy of the thing again. There's also a simple training program with it, mostly built around the skills and just some basic strength work. It can easily fit alongside whatever you're doing at the moment, but it gives you that buzz of consistency and discipline, which I know you've done really well in the past when you've had that. So that's one feature that we have now, which is about sort of getting your direction and getting energized for the direction. And then we have the Discipline Action Brotherhood as well, which is like a 24/7 accountability and action support system where we I'm just looking there at the moment, seeing what's going on the Sunday. It's the first time I've seen it empty actually, but it's the idea is that when you've got some work to do, if you want to write a sales page or you want to make a reel or get down to work and you want to be more focused, you jump in there, you say what you're going to do, and then you get it done. And we found there's a ton of testimonials already of guys saying I got my programming done for the week. Usually it takes me, a few days of procrastinating and messing around. I got it done in 2 hours. This was good. So there's that system as well. And it gets micro contacts where we sort of can connect with each other just for a couple of minutes of, hey, what did you get done? Or did you hit that new press number that you were talking about? Or those little conversations as well, I think they're already accelerating the progress of the men that are engaging with it. So these are two new features that can help us to kind of sync up, and there's in a way for me they're like dense and range were for strength training. Like the dense strength method makes things a lot simpler and can get you really good results, and the range helps overcome a lot of injuries and be able to get the stretch. I feel like these ideas with the TFE and the Future Expander and the Discipline Action Brotherhood give us these structural elements for doing better in business, in the same way. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That Discipline Action Brotherhood.
I can hear you.
Seems like a really good option too.
What's that, Jose?
The audio is a bit low. Can you hear him?
Yeah, it's difficult to hear. It is a little bit difficult, Deck. I'm not sure why. It's a bit quiet. Maybe hold it a bit closer, or yeah.
Is that better?
It's really quiet. I don't know if you're holding the microphone, maybe.
No, it's just in a cover. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Sometimes it's a bit,
yeah. Volume is down a bit. Sorry.
Yeah. So that we've got those things which I'm confident are going to give us more results in between the live events. We still plan on leveraging the live events and face-to-face stuff. We've had one event in Ireland there so far, and we're getting more momentum going in Ireland. But the online systems that we have now are getting better and better. So what would you say would be the key for you for September? What are you thinking about? What would be your big goal for September, or the main thing that you want to work on?
I just need to train consistently daily is the main one for me now at the minute, just because things are different when I'm committing that time. The mind is better, the productivity is better, and I just need that's my main thing for September.
Cool. What time are you thinking about for that?
Daily?
Yeah, what time of day is going to suit?
It will probably differ, but early morning probably suits you. Maybe 7 o'clock in the morning is probably best.
Yeah. Cool. So let's plan on that. Generally, you can use the athletic channel within Discipline Action Brotherhood as well. Some of the guys have put their camera on and train. It's helped me a few times. When I've had days of just computer and then I'm like, I got to do something. put that on, and it helps me to do it better as well. That I'm sort of, maybe someone's watching, so I stay focused. Yes, it can be. Some days there's lots going on, and so yeah, that's good. That's a good clear target. Things have been generally going along well for you with business since you moved out of the leisure centre.
Yeah, no, I've been very busy, to be fair. Yeah, I just probably a little bit too busy, chasing things. But yeah, no, I've been very busy. PT is good, teams involved with it good. Probably haven't noticed the transition away from the skating yet, which is probably indication of how busy things are. Do you get me? I'm not missing income, I'm not missing anything, but I'm just still quite busy. Do you get me?
Yeah, that makes sense. Are they expecting you to go back to the leisure centre still? I remember we were speaking about.
No, done. Made redundant. The facility is closed since March now. So that's done. Like, even if they were, I wouldn't be going back now. It's done.
Oh, good. Happy to hear that. I was kind of hoping you'd get that for a while, to be honest, but it's eventually it happened.
Yeah. I know, look, I suppose, to be honest with you, the beauty of the way things have happened is just home life is easier, because when you go home and your job is gone and it's not your choice to just pack it all in and put things in jeopardy, the support network is completely different, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, the comfort at home is like, this happens, it's not a choice, there's no major pressure on you in this situation, and you're not putting pressure on your family. I know it sounds like a bit of a cop-out, but it just depends on people's situation. It's completely different the way it happens now. Support network is much clearer. This like, the freedom is much clearer because it wasn't an individual choice to just pack everything in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, like, everything is like, the support super here now, and it's just organize things and just be sharper is basically what needs to happen.
Where if you had to choose now, where would you be 12 months from now? What's the progression from where you are now to where you'll be 12 months from now?
I suppose to be able to do what I'm currently doing, and just have the income more stable.
Yeah. So what can you do to get that?
It's just the transition of clients trying signed over to more long-term income or to more long-term goals. It would be the main one, I suppose.
Yeah.
And definitely try and increase, or maybe get a few online clients as well that sign up to a more consistent time frame.
Yeah, and going with conversation we've had a bit lately with guys is like going for more hybrid approach, just people that are a bit further away and you just see them a bit less often, but it's half online. It's probably going to be the easiest way to get some good high value, good results, and you enjoy the process as well. And I could imagine you could do well with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the key is getting your own training buzzing again, where you feel like your mojo's high, and then you kind of know that you'll probably get to that next level business wise. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'm probably so far off where I was before that the consistency of getting going is the problem. So I just need to just nail it for September and make sure I'm training.
Yeah. Very good. It's good. Yeah, good to see you. And if is there anything you wanted to, anything else you wanted to go through today?
No, not really. No.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see you, Dak, and I'm excited to see you pumping away again. I know you get super strong once you're consistent, and it's a good feeling when you're at your best. So looking forward to seeing you doing that. And there's some good lads here I think you're going to get on with well as well. Look forward to the crew getting together in Ireland and England and such. We've got a lot of over long term now with the infrastructure that we built digitally. I think it's going to build more momentum in time. So I'm really excited for it. yeah, appreciate you, being a part of it, and look forward to you having a great year with it.
Yeah, looking forward to it too. Thank you.
Champion. All right. Well done, lads. We've great to speak. We've connected on 3 continents with an Australian as well. So we're from all over the place, but we've got a lot more in common than a lot. So thank you for jumping in. Appreciate you being part of this, and look forward to the next conversation.
Thank you.
Speak soon, brothers.